as you just saw, 3 Fullriver HC100's, 100 amp hours each, obviously. Currently, as you know, I've got 3 Optimas in the back, which are 55 amp hours each, and a stock battery up front, which is pretty big, but it's probably lucky to be 50. But it's a normal standard battery. So at the moment, probably lucky to be 200 amp hours worth, as compared to now 300 and decent batteries, all decent batteries. Not that the Optimas or anything wrong with them, but the one up front's crap. So today, in this video, we'll be taking out the Optimas, taking out the original, one of these massive beasts in the front, 2 of them in the back. They're like 34 kilos each, which, yeah, it's pretty heavy. I've also got some stuff there, maybe rearranging the fans. I'm building a whole new battery rack. Yeah, so you've got your positive, negative battery terminals. Plus you got the M6 bolts that also go in it. Wrong way around. There we go. Okay, so there we go. So this thing here is actually a piece of metal that covers it. I'm going to be taking this off for sure, because it makes it a little bit thicker. And these batteries, as you can see, are pretty tall. Okay, they're quite tall. They're actually a fair bit bigger than the Optimas, and because of that, I'm going to have more trouble fitting them in there. So I'm probably going to take these casings off. Yeah, so there's the 2 batteries going in the rear. So I've taken off the black metal casing. It weighs 2 kilos, that stuff. So that's like, what's the point of having that? And makes them thicker. I might leave it on the front one for protection. It just depends how it goes. If I fit it in easy, then I'll leave it on. It's a pain in the ass, I'll probably take it off. They're freaking hot glued on though, so you have to get in there with a paint scraper and kind of wedge all the glue out. Okay, so 14.3, 14.3, we're just at idle. I'm not going to rev it. Just want to show you the battery drop. And it dropped to 12.9 was the lowest I saw. That's the one hooked up to the amp. And that was only playing like 40 seconds of the song that actually has bass. So that's how quickly I'm down into the 12s. And that's how you remove it without friends. Give you a little size comparison. Look at that. So, as you can see, the Fullrivers are massive compared to the D34s. Alright, so there we have that. It's not put together, it's just sitting in there. You get the idea. Now this bit will be cut out for the fans. Then there'll be a piece of wood, joining or holding the batteries in each one. Yeah, so there's a rough box. I'm going to go hit it with the router just to flush trim it, make it neat. There's that made. Cut that out. My markings now for my fans, which are all made, my brackets. So as you can see, just bent that to flat. Got a small bolt in there, and they'll sit like this. Piece of 0 gauge to go through. Just here, piece of wood is going to go across there, just for the batteries obviously, just to hold it obviously from sliding this way. A little test of the fans here. As you can see, got them all blowing. Good airflow, as you can see these 2, straight across the amp here. They will hit the top of the box kind of, I guess, as it blows through. Yeah, it's only 720 cranking amps. These ones are like 900 and something, but totally different type of battery. They'll be way better. Fullriver in the bonnet just fits. It fits fine length and that. It's actually the height that's worrying me. This does touch this, but luckily, because that moves, because it's just sagging, it's okay. Alright, so the fan's finished. I'm happy with that. These 2 blowing across this amp, then blowing across that amp. I put just a little bit of padding under them so they don't vibrate on the wood, and yeah, that's that. No, the wires aren't finished. I just want to hook it up, make sure everything's good and not vibrating. Yeah, there's the wiring finished, so I've just taped it up nice and neat, and I've used zip ties with the screws in them so I can just hold them down. That's pretty much what I'm going to do with the rest of the wiring, which is that mess there. Alright, little progress. So I got all this. Now there's a lot of wire excess because when I made these 2 runs of positive and everything, it's all made long enough that it can reach to the back of the car, because when I wall it, obviously the wires will have to come to the back where the batteries will be. So there's a lot of excess there, which I've just kind of folded over itself if I have to. So yeah, it looks a little messy now, but in the future, there's a reason for it. Okay, so both the negative runs ground to the chassis, hooked up to the batteries. There's also another negative run just there, so there's actually 3 negative runs and 2 positives. Alright guys, so there it is, the finished install. There's still a fair bit of room behind the fans, despite how it looks. So they still blow fine, there's no problems with them like having no pressure, having too much pressure behind them or whatever. Everything's hooked up right now. And I'll walk around here and show this side. See, it's all in line with that, so the seats can come down. I've used my zip ties and screws just there to hold all the wire. Alright, and as you see, seats go up perfectly, no problems. They rest right on the battery, just as I designed them. As I worked it out, that's why I had to use 9mm. I worked out that that'd be the perfect thickness and I'd still get the seats up. If I went 12mm, I wouldn't be able to get seats because that's on there. These seats can slant. That's on their most upright position that they click into. And so now that I've got the box out, I haven't done it yet. I've had the thing for 2 months. I'm going to CC1 the amps and do the crossovers. And yeah, so I'll show you that. I will film it, but it'll probably be in another video, like showing you how to use the CC1. Box back in with the subs. Still looks like I did before. I would have liked to put the grill on, but yeah, bigger batteries, I'm lucky I got them in there. Anyway, I'll shut this up and we'll go over play. Okay, so we're charging good. I've just been out, so the car's actually warm. It actually sits at about 14.3, 14.4 when the alternator's nice and cool and everything, but it's full on, temperature now, and it's still 14.2. So let's do the song. Now, there will be a problem here. While I had the box out, I did the crossovers of the CC1, and I didn't film it, but I redid the gain on the crescendo, and so I actually ended up turning it a little bit more up. Clean, obviously, because I had turned it down. So it is actually putting out a fair bit more power now, and so it is louder. So before, when I played it on a certain volume, now I'll have to play it about 3 clicks back to be the same volume. But yeah, it's definitely louder. Much better for burps. I haven't metered it or anything, but I can tell it's much louder on a burp. So yeah, that's playing it on the same volume as before, and the voltage on the thumb, as you can see, it's drawing more power now, but it still holds a little bit higher. Before it would hit 12.9 and stuff, it wasn't hitting that at all. But yeah, as I mean, it's kind of my bad, but even at a louder volume, it's still holding the voltage just as good. At a lower volume though, on the other hand, it's sitting at 13.9 at the lowest. It stays around 14 at that same volume. So yeah, definitely better. Not much I can really show because I've adjusted the gains, so it's not going to be the same exact power coming out. We'll go volume 30 for a 41Hz burp. And bass knob at about 2/3 this is. Bring up the idle a little to about 2000. And next bass comp is coming up on the Sunday the 14th at Willowbank Raceway, so this coming Sunday. I'll be there if you want to come. I think it starts at 9, so that means I'm going to get up at 7. 9 till 4 or 5 or something like that. So I'll be there demoing, and this thing's louder again. Not that subs can take it, but it's definitely louder again.